Welcome, everyone, to episode 2 of Quantum Business Shifts with Yuval and Coach Hess. We're here to talk about the whole transition from having a great deal of success to maybe not having some success. How much effort do we put? Why is it that some people seem to put very little effort and find success? And other people are working their tails off and they're struggling. What do you think, Yuval? What's the deal with that? Because we know it's true.
We know it's true, but before we start, I really have to share that our first episode, episode one, was amazing. And I was getting a lot of applause from many, many people. I was not aware of what you and I did. So I highly recommend all the other listeners that haven't seen it just to have a quick jump and see episode one. I think it was really fascinating.
Oh, great. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
that's fun to have that traction. So
yeah.
around today's topic, I mean, last time we ended up with make sure you have a big, hairy, audacious goal kind of that, and have a mindset around what that looks like. And if you can see it, you can achieve it, and you can get there, but you have to have your head into looking at that almost impossible thing that you maybe are in front of you. And we tested everybody a little bit with that. Now today we're kind of focusing on, well, how do you get there? What is that? What's some of the magic that happens, for like we say those people that, in my case, I think a lot of times it's the golf swing that I think about in these things. And that is after I played a round where I played really well, I come off the course and I feel like I've hardly done anything. It's been very little effort to make it work. I've stayed in the middle of the fairway. I haven't had a struggle here and struggle there, and I'm hurting because I had to make a crazy shot. It's all smooth. And I think that's the way we like to function in our business and how we come across to people.
I think there is a sentence that the biggest power needs the gentle touch, right? So
Mhm.
people that have their own self-esteem, they don't need much power. They don't need the force. They have the power by themselves.
Interesting.
When we start with the question, why there are people that struggling all the time and others that have very much doing the same things, but they are getting the same results or very good results without really putting a lot of efforts. And is there any way to change it? And so many people are really struggling getting results, but only very few getting them in very much ease. And I think this is an amazing question.
Yeah.
And I think the answer for that there is a quantum effect. And Albert Einstein, he's telling us that we have around us a magnetic field that we either repel things or attract things to our life. So it's a lot of our inner polarity if we repel things from our life or we just attract them with ease. And if we repel them, then we really have to work very, very, very hard chasing them, try to get them, grab them. Otherwise, they're just easily being attracted to us. So it's a lot about understanding what within yourself is maybe resistant what you would like to achieve. Because you might want to get it with your outreached hand, but this magnetic wave repels it from you. And then you have to chase very hard to get it.
That's exciting stuff. And when I think about it in terms of the radiation of the energy, as a leader,
Mhm.
as a business leader, as we're working in that, and we have this inner core belief, inner core system that is there, that we are doing all the right things, I think, in terms of how we mindset ourselves and setting that energy field, well, it spreads. And so, as a business, you can create a culture that creates this kind of environment.
Mhm.
In the process of creating that environment, the attraction goes up higher and higher. And we can see that in companies. All we got to do is look at their brand, and we have that hard, warm, these people take care of us. I think Disney gets a little of that going, but I mean, there's other companies and those companies that have that and that feeling about them that they're going to do, they're involved in the universe, they're involved in their community, they're involved in this win-win. Much of what I wrote about in Achieving Peak Performance book, and just kind of putting that together is that we can be social impact businesses at the same time we're building our businesses ourselves. And when people have that feeling and bring that culture and that magnetic fields out there to attract more, all the more success just seems to happen. It's like a snowball comes to you, right? How exciting.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. You know what the point? The companies that are not aware that everything here is about energy, they are selling.
Mhm.
And selling is most of the time is really coming from a low place, trying to convincing other to buy. Though that really understand that everything here is energy, and they come with a high value for the client and very high value of their own self-esteem, they are not selling. They are explaining, they are offering, they are presenting. One thing for sure, they are not selling and they are not pushing, by the way, and they are not trying to push. They just explain what they have. And once they are coming from such a high magnetic wave, clients are easily attracted to them. And this is a huge secret that only very few people in the world really know. You have to stop sell. You just have to know how good you are, how good the product you're offering, how good the service you're offering, and then you just have to present it.
Yeah, that's so powerful. I was working with a client yesterday, Yuval, and I can kind of share a story about that. We were there's an element when we come across a new client or new customer when we show up at their door. In this case, these guys were doing AV, so audio visual and IT work. So they'd come in and put large screens up and everything. And so we're talking about the customer experience and what happens. So they come in the door and they get this feeling of expected or what is expected, which might be they have their booties on or whatever it might be if it's a house or they have certain things that are expected. Well, if we come in with a way it goes to an appreciated level right away and get them to say, hey, I appreciate this company because they are whatever it is, something that it just makes them feel a little more valued right away, we're at a whole new level. And a lot of that's listening, right? And listening to the customer and showing your respect, showing your discipline you have and how you follow those principles. But the beauty of when I was talking with these clients is they said, now we got to go to another level. That's not good enough. We've got to go to distinguished. What does distinguished look like for our business? How are we better than everybody and how do we represent ourselves accordingly? And if we don't believe that ourselves, our customers will never believe it. So the internal self-esteem of the company as a whole and how we carry ourselves and how our culture is in terms of being a distinguished company for this kind of service is really important. And they all grabbed onto that. I could see them just going, yeah, we can be that. But there's some work in terms of the mindset to get them believing that they are absolutely the distinguished best there is for what they do. And I like coaching to that, of course, because that's excellence. And if people are striving towards excellence, things are going to go, I think, better in their life. I mean, what's the choice? Do it lousy? That doesn't work for anybody, I don't think. I mean, you want to have those things in place. And so I think a lot of this quantum mindset that we're talking about, I just want to make the point about how it filters across a larger group and how you can spread it by carrying this power that we're talking about here.
Yes, but I would like to emphasize something. You see, the listeners might think that we are dealing only with mindset and maybe spiritual worlds. No, business have to make money and have to bring profit to the shareholders. There is no doubt on that. And we have to maximize the performances of the business. We have to maximize the sales, the values for the shareholders, for the owners. But what that many people are does not aware of is that it is all about circulation. If you offer higher service, higher quality, higher product, and you focus on the client, on his higher interest, it is come back to you as a higher price. So many customers try to push things to the clients instead of offering very high value that the client would appreciate and would be happy to pay. So if you really take the things up and offer higher value for the client, you'll get much more money. You'll get much more sales. You'll get higher profit. And this is the trick. We have to make money. There's no doubt on that. But the way of making money is offering the best product to the best clients, and then you get the best money.
And showing up as an authentic kind of back to the authentic representation of what what you're doing in your business. And yeah, I'm totally in agreement with that. I mean, those that succeed, it gets easy for them, but you know what? There was a whole bunch of deliberate practice that often has to occur to get to that point where you're that confident, you know that things will, the money's going to come in if we do the right things.
Yes,
And you know your system and you know what's going, but takes many business owners, me included, a lot of failures to find out that, this is a better way. And we go through that and now quickly we adjust and realign, and remain resilient because as a business owner, you could easily beat yourself up and beat yourself right out of your business, through your own mindset just because things aren't working because you can take it very personal. And that's a tough thing for people. And I think having the mindset that it's going to work out, I'm going to push this way. I know that we're these kind of things and we're good. You can push through and you keep working at that whole optimism that goes with that and putting your energy sources into providing value to people and and letting them tell others. Because you know what happens? It's really good is what people say about you when you're not in the room. And it's good
yes,
stuff. That's that's the best compliment a guy can ever get, and you don't even know they happen. But that's the way you want your business to be talked about, and get the word out. Yeah, very
you
good.
know, yeah. When you come with a business in a sort of like a mission of having an impact, it doesn't have to be very big dramatic impact, but it's for the goods of the clients. They really feel it. They really resonate with this, that you're really for them and not for the money. And
Right,
then they're really being attracted to you. So those people that we said initially that everything is being attracted to them with ease, they know how good they are. They know they have the very best product, and they know they're really here for the clients and not for themselves, not for the money, for the client. And if the client does not need the product, they will not push the product for him,
right, right.
right?
And that's part of the culture thing, we were talking about earlier, in terms of the type of culture you create into your business is the kind of clients you will attract. If you have a culture that is, very value oriented, customer service before self mentality, and so on, you're going to attract clients that like that kind of thing that are going to typically be higher level clients because they recognize that rather than the ones that are looking for what's the best price I can get for this carpet cleaning or whatever it is. It's not about the price, and people that value know. And those are the clients you want. The higher level of clients. I think our buddy Vance Morris talks quite a bit about, raising the bar around that. And I think this quantum mindset is right in parallel with that thinking.
Let me ask you a question, please.
Yeah.
You've been coaching many, 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 many companies with very tremendous success, and you are one of the most maybe appreciated coaches in the States. And what makes group to a team?
What makes
Because if we have a team, then we win.
right? What's the root of team and kind of the whole idea of team? And I'll tell you what, as a basketball coach, my first career, now a business coach, It's when you get that culture and that whole mindset across. So leadership is critical, absolutely critical. But other things that are just as important as having something like a common goal, having your culture in place, meaning the rules of the game. Here's how we function as this company, meaning service before stuff. We take care of our customers before we take care of it. We'll do whatever we can. If that's the mantra of the company, so be it. And when everybody gets in this common goal concept going, and they're all thinking, we're all oaring and going the same way. We've got our oars in the water. We're heading in the same direction. Amazing things start to happen. When everybody can trust everybody and have respect for each other and their team, and they all feel 100% participatory in all aspects of the business that they're involved in for sure, and they feel like they're valued, good things happen. People will stand up. I believe in the goodness of man, and they will do good things, given the opportunity to feel like they're a part of things. And that's huge in team building, I think. And you know, you want the problems to come out before they become problems. And so we have to learn from each and every one. So continuous improvement is just a critical thing for having a solid team. After every one of my basketball games, what would we do? We'd look at the videos. We'd figure out, hey, we didn't move our weak side guy low enough, in order to stop the block, whatever it might be. And we'd start to get better. And we'd figure out how to get better every time. And that's the way anybody that's doing, I think, things in life and growing, our businesses, what we do is continuous improvement. How do you have a plan and a system to make sure? And of course, we'll do that with the video we're putting out right now. In episode 2, we'll meet. Yuval and I will meet and we'll talk about, hey, how did that go? What could we do better? How do we want to engage? And your feedback would be great. If you can feedback on what's being posted on LinkedIn and what your thoughts are about quantum mindset and the difference it can make in growing your business.
And if you have also questions or ideas, please share. We'll be more than happy to make it live here.
All right. You bet. We're here to serve, and we are practicing what we preach, Yuval.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for attending, and I hope you've enjoyed this session and look forward to episode number 3 soon to come. Bye,
Thanks.
everyone.
Bye.